10, 12, 15. Oops.
He touched down not even 4 hours ago. A quick trip, but as you said, very impactful.
Boy, oh boy. You just can't make this up. The worst administration probably in history. The greatest scandal ever. 81 million votes. A cheap fake, a deep fake. Oh boy. I can't be the one to, I love that I'm the one to break it to y'all, man. I just, I mean, just, let's jump into this video. You know, I'm not going to do all this talking. Let's just jump into the video, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Shout out to them beautiful patriots, my brothers and sisters around the world. One love to the human race. It's December. Can we make it to the end of the month? Merry Christmas, y'all. Can January 20th get here any faster? Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. Let's do this thing. But this is a disgrace. And they ought to be ashamed of themselves. Let's jump in.
An explosive report from the Wall Street Journal shedding light on how the White House functioned or didn't function with a diminished Biden in charge.
Incredible. Peter Dixon joins us from Washington. Hey, Peter.
And when I got to the White House 4 years ago with President Biden, he was walled off because of COVID. They didn't want him to get sick. But then he stayed walled off. And now the Wall Street Journal has this item with the headline, How the White House Functioned with a Diminished Biden in Charge. And it comes with this quote, if the president was having an off day, meetings could be scrapped altogether. On one such occasion in the spring of 2021, a national security official explained to another aide why a meeting needed to be rescheduled. Quote, he has good days and bad days, and today was a bad day, so we're going to address this tomorrow, the former aide recalled the official saying. The president showed natural signs of aging, but key allies always stuck their necks out to say, no big deal.
It ain't funny. You better not be on here laughing. You better not be on here laughing. It ain't funny. Elderly abuse. Elderly abuse. You better not be on here laughing. Oh, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, man. They ought to be ashamed of themselves, you know. But he's as sharp as a tack. It's a cheap fake, a deep fake. The Bidenomics is also working. We're doing such an amazing job at the border. Yeah. And look at this lady here. I talk with Biden every single day almost, and he's as sharp as a tack, you guys. What do you mean? And to be honest with you, I shouldn't even have to be running. Yeah, DEI. Didn't earn it. She drunk everywhere she go. She don't even know what's going on either. Unbelievable, man. And her running mate sitting up there, you know, throwing tampons all out in the middle of the street. I mean, unbelievable. Let's get back into it. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to. I'm sorry. Y'all know I got to come on here and keep it real, man. Because it comes to a point, man. I'm saying it's the worst administration it might be in history. They're going to have to study. They're going to have to go back and study what really all this. I'm telling you. That's how bad of a job was done. They're going to have to go back and study it.
After the debate, you insisted that President Biden is extraordinarily strong. Given where we are now, do you have any regrets about what you told the American people?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I talk to President Biden, regularly, usually several times in a week. His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years.
Oh, Chuck. Oh, Chuck. Bake us a pie. And guess what, Chuck? We don't want it. Throw that pie out in the middle of the street on the freeway, too.
Do you think the president should undergo some sort of cognitive testing?
No, to the extent that we're having this conversation, I don't see any need to do that as it relates to Biden.
Things have changed a lot, but no obvious second thoughts.
You prepare to leave the White House. Any other regrets that you have? Anything you wish you would have done differently?
Well, I guess if I thought a lot about it, it'd be something I've done specifically done, but not generically.
What the hell?
I had a front row seat to a lot of this, and at various times was basically told not to believe what I was seeing or hearing. The president misspoke. The president has a cold. But now the dam appears to be breaking. This Wall Street Journal item interviewed 50 people familiar with Biden's operation. Back to you.
So, Peter, you had the story in August. The Wall Street Journal began to dip their toe in the water on this very topic, and they got blasted.
Huge shout out to Peter, man. Huge shout out to Peter, man. I'm telling you, Peter been setting it down. He's been setting it down with that woman with that big old binder, you know, for a while. You know, we got to see Peter come out and just... what has it been, y'all? I mean, let's just be real here. She come out there with that big old binder.
You've gotten blasted when you've questioned the president's security, and Kamala Harris offended that people.
We admire you, Peter. We appreciate you, buddy. True patriot. They tried to clean house, drag Peter through the mud too. We seen it, but we all seen it. And they said it was a cheap fake, a deep fake. Matter of fact, it's AI edited. What y'all are seeing isn't real. They played it on CNN. They played it on MSNBC, ABC, NBS, the whole alphabetical order. They played it. But they say what we're seeing is there's a cheap fake, deep fake. They say we are stupid. We are stupid and we're going to get put last. Yeah. That's what it's been. No other way around it. You got your opinion, I got my opinion, but there's no other way around it. I'm sorry. Yeah. They said them Patriots is stupid.
People even bring it up. But they talk about interaction between Biden and many of his cabinet members were infrequent, often tightly scripted. At least one cabinet member stopped requesting calls with the president because it was clear that such requests wouldn't be welcome. The cabinet. Peter Doocy can't get an interview. His own cabinet can't get a meeting. Adam Smith, who's chairman of Armed Services, tried to tell the president how bad Afghanistan could turn out. He couldn't get to him. This is cataclysmic.
And it raises a lot of questions about who was making key decisions. You mentioned the Afghanistan withdrawal. If the president was as diminished as this story makes it sound, that would be a huge problem, and it could explain why certain decisions were made that turned out to be catastrophic and why no apologies were ever made. To your point, Brian, when the cabinet met all 9 times, which is the least in the last several decades that a president has had their whole cabinet together in an entire term, there was a different item a few months ago where cabinet secretaries were being asked to submit their questions for the president behind closed doors in advance, and they were being told to keep it quick because the way that it worked was they would ask a question that was pre-screened, and then the president would have a card with the answer, even in a closed setting. And I hear a lot of the complaints about, and there was a bite in the open, why wasn't there more coverage of the president's age and acuity earlier? Well, a lot of the stories that you hear...
You kept asking.
I kept asking the whole time. And a lot of the stories that we would hear, that we would try to report out, are secondhand, but it's a lot of stuff like, you would hear from somebody on the staff or somebody that works at the White House. It looked like the president was falling asleep somewhere. Okay, hard to confirm that, but we have tape of him falling asleep at events
Peter.
As recently as his most foreign...
Out cold! And there are other leaders, world leaders, people talking, and he's out cold. Live on air at the meeting. Asleep. I say, what are we doing? What is going on? Did this really just happen? He out and then fell asleep out cold, and they still speaking. After he sent billions of dollars, I mean, oh shit. Oh man, I just.
Most recent foreign trip.
You know, it was off the record last Friday. There was a holiday party at the White House. you had a brief interaction that has not been reported, and it kind of speaks to how his aides just ripped you essentially out of that room when you two started talking.
It was actually kind of funny. I took my sister Mary as my +1, and when we got up there, I said, "Mr. President, this is my sister Mary." And the first thing he said to her is, "You know, my sister tries to control me." And the First Lady and the press secretary, who was standing off to the side, were trying to keep the line going, and they did. And so it was quick. But a lot of that.
And I think he might have said something like, "I'd like to talk to you later," and then it's like, "Come on, Peter, let's go." And there you went.
Yes. Yep.
With your sister Mary, who
night.
tries to control you, too.
It's true, but I made sure that Mary did what I always do at these White House parties. They have like napkins with the presidential seal, so just make sure that as many as you can grab on your way out.
That's the lovely party gift.
Thanks.
All right, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
This is embarrassing as a country. I mean, everyone's talking about the Republican Party right now and who's debating this bill, and Elon Musk, who's running the country right now. And the fact is that the report said this was months into the presidency. That means, as we reported back then, when I was Sean Hannity's correspondent and I used to go in front of Joe Biden's house during the campaign trail, that it wasn't about COVID, that he was diminished before he even was sworn in. It only got worse as he was in office. So, I mean, I don't understand how they have any credibility anymore.
This is so serious, and it is such a big deal, because if this was going on when he was making decisions about the Afghanistan withdrawal, how do you think you would feel if you're the parents that lost a child at the Abbey Gate?
Wow.
Exactly.
Who decided?
How about they fought for 20 years?
It's a disgrace, man. And I send my love and prayers out. It's a disgrace, man. I tell you the word.
Or they fought for the right reason, and to build a society that had somewhat representation of women and people who have opportunity. I think that this disqualifies Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, Kamala Harris, KJP. They all lied to us. They told us he was fine. They campaigned to get him another 4 years until he fell apart in June. And they hid this from the country. This is so beyond politics. Our country had no legitimate president
the entire time.
Functioning
and it's
government.
not the only lie.
And Jill.
Yeah. And
the doctor Jill, doctor. They ought to be ashamed of themselves, all of them. A disgrace. And they knew all along. That would kill, man, I tell you. And then gonna come out and say he's as sharp as a tack. It's a cheap fake. It's a deep fake. What y'all are seeing is not real. It's AI edited. Then we took it a step further and lied, and that's gonna lie about everything else. The Bidenomics is working. Look at the border. We're doing such a great job. Yay. Y'all should be pissed off, man. Blood should be boiling. January 20th can't get here any faster. Let me know what y'all think of all this, though, man. I told you I was going to come out. I told you. Just wait. It's all going to hit the fan. The truth is going to shine in the light. And 2024 is the year. Before it can end, it all has to take place. Hope y'all ready. I love y'all. God bless them beautiful patriots around the world, man. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.